Shams, NBA's happening, next week? This is when this whole thing starts. All teams are reporting on the same day. Tyrese Halliburton, who is a part of Movado Watches, he's a model now. He said yesterday he checks in next Tuesday. Is that everybody, or is the NBA season about to start?
A lot of teams starting on the 30th, going into October 1. A lot of training camps start this weekend, going into early next week. But listen, the Celtics, Nuggets, they just had their media day yesterday. The Clippers had media day. Oklahoma City today with Sam Presti, they're addressing the media today. So teams are starting to get underway. You'll see JJ Redick, Rob Pelinka, the Lakers brass, they're going to address the media here very soon as well. So around the league, teams, executives, they're starting up. A lot of the team players are all going to start trickling in. I think, you look at this weekend as we get closer to the 30th, and everything will be underway by the 1st of the month.
Okay, so let's talk about a couple of those teams that you just mentioned there. We'll start with Los Angeles, obviously. LeBron and Bronny, I heard are playing night one, right? Ooh. That's what I heard. I read on internet. It made it into my algorithm. A lot of stuff made it into my algorithm.
With a
lot of stuff. But that one, most specifically there, Bron and Bronny are going to be playing on night one. That's like a guarantee, seemingly, at this point. Is that accurate?
I think they're trying to figure out exactly what that's going to look like. I think it's going to happen early in the season, but what I do know is LeBron James, Bronny James have already been through multiple workouts together, individually,
in the driveway,
together.
We see him in the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
He's called himself the GOAT. Remember that?
In small group settings, in full scrimmage settings, they're very much already on the court together, and they're playing and they're practicing a lot. They've been on the court for the last little bit at the facility. And as training camp ramps up, as the Lakers get a better understanding of how to approach Bronny James' season, when he's going to play on the court, it's a historic moment. It's going to happen. It's going to happen probably early and allow the history aspect of it. It's never happened in the NBA. So allow the history to take shape, to go on. And then from there, I think the Lakers can kind of move on to an extent. But they don't know exactly where Bronny James is going to totally fit in to their roster yet. They want to see how training camp goes. But listen, G League season is going to start a little bit after the NBA gets underway, and then they're going to have to figure out a plan of where that goes. Because realistically, second-round picks, those types of guys, they spend time in the G League to some extent, and I do think that is going to be a part of the full Bronny James development plan.
I'm excited. Them doing a high five after a bucket.
Oh, my God.
Cool. What if they throw an oop to each other? Oh, my God.
Bronny ain't playing a minute in the G League. Not one. He might start the NBA season.
What are you talking about? Rich Paul says it's all good. When he came on the program, he said that there's a whole plan. We're patient. We understand this entire thing.
I believe.
What if there's a Dwayne Wade oop off the backboard photo?
Very possible. Very possible. Would be a very photogenic moment right there.
Like that would be very photogenic, like you are.
That would be on posters. That would be everywhere. But I think, listen, Bronny James, they don't know exactly his role on the team. It's hard to say, okay, he's going to spend the entire year in the G League because training camp hasn't started yet. JJ Redick said it at the press conference. He said it multiple times, publicly, privately. Like, he is high on Bronny James as a basketball IQ player. How does that translate in training camp? I think you have to give every player a shot. But DB, if you're a second-round pick in the NBA, you're going to be playing some amount of time in the G League. That's just the nature of the beast.
There's a champion, seemingly, that's going to be back in the hunt. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Sean, I'm just talking about the best team in the NBA, the Boston Celtics, and it's not really close at this point in time.
That's your trophy, BC. That's your trophy, please.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Trophy. Lift it. Can we lift it? Can you lift it?
I guess I'll be your pump because it is for the Celtics. That's fine. I kissed it yesterday. I usually do every day. But what's the chances here that we're looking at a Celtics repeat? And is Joe Mazzulla just in the ears of Tatum and Jaylen Brown telling them how they're not good enough to be both on the USA team and play for the USA team because Tatum didn't play 2 games? And then is Porzingis going to come back at all in 2024, or is this going to be like, hey, let's just get to the playoffs and then you can play basketball?
Well, they're the favorites. Like the Celtics, how deep this roster is, they are the favorites going into the season. They've won the championship. And you think about, I think I said it when I came on the show early August, right around Olympic time. Jason Tatum, he was telling people around USA Basketball, and this was something that people on USA Basketball heard, he really took that motivation from what happened at the Olympics. He has MVP goals in his mind, whether that's this year, but that is fully on his mind as far as what he can accomplish in this league. and you look at everything he's done already at such a young age, already winning a championship, that is the next step for him, is to rise to that MVP level. And then Jaylen Brown not even making it on the roster, he's going to be motivated already. And I think he's gone through his own motivational moments throughout his whole career. You think about a few years ago, it was bannered about, is he the odd man out in Boston? Does he get traded? He heard that talk, and I think he's spoken about that eloquently. And even when Kevin Durant was available in that summer of 2022, I reported, and this is fact, this is what happened. And you think about this offer now, it's crazy. They offered Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and draft picks for Kevin Durant in 2022. That is verified, that is sourced. Brooklyn did not do it at the time, and obviously the Celtics, 2 years later, won a championship. They're celebrating that. Those two guys, I expect a great level of motivation. They're both hungry, and the thing is, everyone wants to pit those two guys together. They have so much respect for each other in their games. I think they push each other to new heights. And I think there were even people internally with the Celtics that were surprised that Derek White played a little bit more than Jason Tatum in the Olympics. But like Derek White said, there's no elephants in the room. This is their team. This is their core. They've got the deepest team in the league. Porzingis could be back as soon as December, but they don't have to rush him back necessarily. They have Al Horford waiting in the wings. He can start. He can come off the bench. They have depth. They have depth at that position. They're the deepest team. That starting five is the best starting five in the league when all healthy.
Okay, Shams, we appreciate all that information there for Boston, and I assume Connor's going to utilize all of it to weaponize our ears on and off air going forward.
Yep.
He said that during media days, Al Horford said that he gets to the building at like 8 a.m. right now, and Tatum's already done. In this entire thing. And then you think about the way Missoula is wired, I assume he's there 5 a.m. as well.
Yeah, and Tatum
he's a different kind of coach. He's a different kind of coach, and we saw Jason Tatum talk about it. Like, he was probably, like Jason Tatum said, he was the most happy at what happened. This is motivation, his strategies, how he gets, and that first year when Joe Mazzulla took over for Ime Udoka, when that whole scandal happened, and he was out as coach.
What happened?
You remember?
We don't have to talk about it.
He was out.
He's walking around the office. Just saying.
What I would say, that year for Joe Mazzulla was a trying year for everyone with the Celtics. For Joe Mazzulla, but he went through that experience. They kept the confidence with him. He had the whole last summer, 2 summers ago, to really ingratiate himself, spend more time as the head coach. And last year we saw the clinic he had in the playoffs, and he's one of the best coaches in the NBA right now.
Oh, you're saying new ownership is maybe going to come in there and do
pinch penny
what the Fenway Sports Group did to the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Yeah, huge dispute. I believe the Grossbeck elder statesman, who doesn't go to the games, his son does. The elder statesman was like, "Hey, what the hell? Why are we spending so much goddamn money?" And the younger guy was like, "Hey, we're trying to win games." Then the older guy who runs the ship was like, We're selling the team.
What?
I want my stake out.
It was a family decision. It was a family decision. It wasn't just one person. So I think when anytime there's ownership change, you have to think about the direction of the team, especially with how lucrative this roster.
For shoot.
Wow. Okay.
They got two $300 million players, right?
Yeah. First team ever.
And there's a luxury tax, I assume, for all this stuff?
Yeah, but theirs is lowered, I believe, because both players, Tatum and Brown, have always been on the Celtics.
So Dad comes walking in one day. Dad comes walking in, looks at the payroll and goes, holy shit, when did we start? We're paying this?
Looking at the book.
Teams for sale.
Yeah.
We are selling this team immediately.
But you have to pay for the talent that this team has.
Well, that's what the kids say.
Yeah.
Dad.
Otherwise, you have expansion.
We gotta
Unless you have expansion, these guys are trickling out everywhere. Like,
Walter gets it.
Shout out to the
it's
kid.
insane.
The kid gets it.
Because sometimes the kids go the opposite way. They're trying to pinch pennies so that they get more money when everything kind of, potentially moves on. I don't know the situation in this entire thing, but them going, nah, we won't win. We're spending his money. We're going to we're going to win.
That's exactly right.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that was the case. I'm excited to see what the next ownership does. Ty has a question for you about
Bezos.
Big money here happening.
Yeah, Shams, obviously the Celtics are very good, but what about the other team that they're going to have to try to beat in the Eastern Conference? The 76ers just signed Embiid to that massive extension. And then obviously they got a couple new pieces this offseason. What's the outlook on the 76ers this year?
Well, there's a level of pressure, but I do think for the first time in a really, really, really long time in Philadelphia, in any of Joel Embiid's years there, they have stability. They have a core that they can rely on, and they know exactly what this looks like. There's no drama. There's no issues internally. This is their team. And Joel Embiid, for him to agree to this extension, he has 5 years, $300 million plus on his deal. One of the most lucrative deals in NBA history. Him, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, the most lucrative contracts in league history, and he locks that money in. I think the shape he comes in over the course of this season, that's going to be important. How he continues to stay healthy. Health is going to be the key for him and the Sixers to win at a high level. They know it. He knows it. Everyone there knows it. But assuming they're healthy, this team has the talent to really compete against Boston. And the other thing that I think we should remember, when Joel Embiid, when he did his Instagram caption talking about his extension, he said he wants to be a Sixer for life. And there's been chatter in NBA circles. What is his future? Will he want out? With this, when everything's going on with James Harden and Ben Simmons, you look at a guy like Joel Embiid. Other teams are trying to pluck him out of Philly. He wants to be a Sixer for life. And that is the biggest thing to take out of that. I think now he genuinely wants to see if he can finish his career with the Sixers.
Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. The CDA on the list,